This video is to go with your discount homework. So our objective is I can solve multi-step percent problems involving markdowns. A discount is a markdown. So let's look at the first problem. Jeans were on sale for 35% off the original price. Katie bought a pair of jeans on sale that had an original price of $40. How much did Katie pay for her jeans? So the original price is always going to be the whole in our percent equation. Part equals percent times the whole. So I know the original price was $40, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. Do I know the part, the sale price? No, I don't know the part that she paid. But I have this percent, 35% off the original price. We discussed in class, if it's 35% off, what percent are you still paying? What's 100 minus 35? 100% minus the 35% off is 65%. That means you're still paying 65%. So with discount problems, you have to think about what percent am I still paying. If I'm still paying 65%, that's the percent I use in my percent equation. So 65% is 0.65 as a decimal. We discussed in class you have to rewrite that percent as a fraction or decimal in order to use it in the percent equation. So I'm going to go ahead on my calculator and multiply 0.65 times the original price of $40, and I'll get $26. She actually paid $26. So there's our correct answer. Let's try the next one. In class, we discussed sometimes New York State likes to ask percents in a way that relates them back to the expressions and equations we've studied this year. It says the price C in dollars of a winter coat that Jamal wants to buy has been discounted 20%. So that means it's 20% off. The expression below can be used to find the discounted price for the coat. And I've talked to several of you who struggle with word problems. There's some times that they give away the expression that they want you to be able to simplify. It says, which expression is another way to determine the discounted price of the coat? Well, we can either fall back on what we've studied. We've studied part equals percent times the whole or the total or the original. And if it's 20% off, what percent are we still paying? Well, 100% minus the 20% means we're still paying 80%. What's 80% as a decimal? 0.8. So we know our percent would be 0.8 or 0.80 times what was the original price of that winter coat. The original price of that winter coat they called C. That was the original, or the original whole price of the winter coat. So they multiply it by C, and that will give us the part we will still have to pay. So we know, based on what we've discussed in class, that 0.80 C is what they're looking for in terms of using our percent equation. But we could also do it the way we did it when we worked with expressions. What's 1C minus 0.20C? Well, they both have a C, so they're like terms. 1C minus 0.2C, 1 minus 0.2 is 0.8, 0.80C. You didn't even need to know anything about percents to actually solve this problem, because they gave away the expression they wanted you to simplify. But I wanted to revisit the problem the way we've discussed in class. All right, let's try the third one. Now, this is definitely a multi-step. It says two sporting goods stores are having a discount sales on their basketballs. At one store, a basketball is on sale for 20% off the regular price. Well, if it's 20% off, we've discussed in class what percent are we still paying? We're still paying 80% for that basketball. At another store, that same kind of basketball is on sale for 25% off. Well, if it's 25% off, what percent are we still paying? We're still paying 75% for that basketball, which had a regular price of $25.80. What is the difference between the sale prices at the two stores. Okay, so difference means eventually we're going to subtract in our last step because of the word difference. But we first have to find the sale prices. Well, how are we going to find the sale prices? We're going to fall right back to our percent equation. So at store 1, at our first store, I say to myself, I'm looking for the part I'm still going to pay. So I'm looking for the part, so I'm going to call the part X. Equals what percent am I still paying? Oh, I'm still paying 80%, which we know we have to write that as a fraction or decimal, so that's 0.8 or 0.80, times what was the original or the whole price for that? $24.95. So to figure out how much we're spending at that first store on the basketball, it's only a 20% off sale. We're going to take 0.8 times our original price of $24.95 and come up with $19.96. So that's what we still have to pay at that first store. So that's $19.96 is the sale price at that first store. So now let's talk about store 2. At store 2, it was 25% off, so we're still paying 75%. We are given the original or the whole of $25.80, and we're looking for the part. So in our percent equation, we're looking for the part. I'm going to call that X. 25% off, which means we're still paying 75%. In our percent equation, we need to rewrite that percent as a fraction or decimal. I always choose to rewrite mine as a decimal. That's just me. You might be choosing to rewrite 75% as 3/4. That also works. Times the whole of $25.80 times that original price. So if I take 0.75, I'm still paying 75% times $25.80. I come up with $19.35. So it's a little bit cheaper at that second store. $19.35 is what I get for the sale price at store 2. So I'm like, okay, I've done a lot of work. Now let's make sure I've answered the question that's been asked. What is the difference between the sale prices? Oh, difference, I have to now subtract them. So I have to take my $19.96 and subtract off my $19.35. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. $19.96, you can use your calculator, minus $19.35. Looks to me like there's a 61-cent difference. That was absolutely a multi-step problem, which is what we need to be able to do in 7th grade. So hopefully this homework video helped support you through that homework. Try to have a good night. See you tomorrow. Well, actually, it's a long weekend for you. I'll see you Tuesday. Have a good weekend.